All right, we're back here for round two. Uh, we are following Justin again. Mitchell's going to be looking at the contents of his hand, uh, and we're going to be watching from the view of Cody-Rayce. So I know the username here is the username of another league player. Um, he borrowed his
Limited
account
or
because
limited specialist.
he borrowed another player's account for this tournament because lack of wildcards on his account. So if you're a league regular and you see that name and you know that belongs to another player, Andrew, it's
So we
Cody's
find out
borrowing
there's
his
no
account.
shock in hand here.
Yeah,
Curious Obsession comes down like a constructed opener
yeah.
here.
So he's gonna fire prophecy it, but the good news for Justin is that he got a card back, and the Lantern Bearer goes in his graveyard for further use. So it mitigates this type of 1-for-1 removal. Uh, yeah. So Cody's hand.
Curiosity,
Yeah.
Curiosity is in hand as well as Chemistry's Insight in 3 lands. That's the hand right now.
Yeah. So Cody's hand consists of he has a SRAM. He has, if you remember, he had a lot of those equipments, the uh, the reconfigure equipment. So that works well with SRAM. And
This is
so
two of the more aggressive decks of the whole pod, I
yeah,
think.
yeah, we'll see how this matches up because Justin's trying to accrue value while casting his invasive creatures. Cody's trying to deal damage as fast as possible. Right, that's the red white deck. So he has the choice between SRAM here. He could play a 1/1 double strike, the Twin Blade Geist, the one with Disturb, and he has two removals: Welding Sparks and Igneous Inspiration, which is a 3 damage spell that learns, and he has another learn card in hand, Enthusiastic Study, the pump spell. So he has, he could play out one of his 2 drops. He could kill the Visionary, but I don't think he's thinking about that right now. Yeah, he's just gonna play his SRAM. He has quite a few equipments and some auras, so if he draws those, he gets to draw cards.
What's the removal spell you said he had?
He has Igneous Inspiration, which is a sorcery 3 damage and learn, and he has Welding
Sorcery.
Sparks, which is an instant uh, 3 plus the number of artifacts damage to a creature.
Yeah. Pretty important when Justin's plan is to aura up a creature or two with Lantern Bearer Curiosity.
So what do we see in Justin's hand here that he did not cast anything on turn 4?
It is. It looks like Chemister's Insight's going to be the play.
Okay.
The loot is also possible, but I don't think that's the idea of the whole turn. Rambunctious Mud has also been drawn.
Okay, Rambunctious Mutt could be useful against some of these equipments that show up later. What else?
It's just a Plains, Curiosity, Chemister's Insight, and Rambunctious Mud.
Okay, so hopefully that Chemist's Insight can find some action here. Because right now his hand's a little light on relevant plays.
Finding a Behold eventually is
That's a good one.
going to do some
Yeah,
work.
so Cody's just going to play his other creature here. No reason to leave up removal. He can just untap it and use removal if he needs to.
Plate Armor, Network Disruptor, and a Novice Knight, which should be good in the matchup.
Okay, yeah, Novice Knight's just a nice little blocker. Uh, Probably more so than anything in this matchup.
So much synergy here. Plate Armor is, it gives +3/+3 on Ward.
Ward 1, right?
And the equip cost is interesting.
It
Which I'm
costs
just going to
3
remind
to
myself.
equip, but it's 1 less for each other equipment.
I see. And there is no other equipment available right now in hand.
But
But still,
let's not hide the headline of +3/+3 is
yeah, I forgot about
gigantic.
that bit.
It's
A
just
1/1 becomes.
it's just exceedingly gigantic amount of power and toughness for one card to be giving over and over.
It's gonna get stuff out of the way of Welding Sparks and the other 3 damage one you were
And
talking about.
you said he does have a land here.
He just drew land. It looks like he's getting rid of a Plains because he
Okay.
has he drew an island there.
Okay. Gonna play Novice Knight. Gonna play a plate armor and look to start equipping that next turn.
Ward 1 is also something not to be ignored since it's got a.
Yeah,
Well, if the equip resolves.
the plate armor makes everything a threat. And Cody's not playing a green deck, so it's not like his creatures. He's just gonna have a 6/6 that doesn't care about a +3 on the other side. Red white he won't be able to profitably block things. So he's gonna get rid of this novice knight here with an enthusiastic study. He's gonna deal some damage. He's gonna go find his mascot exhibition, which
Not a bad card.
yeah, Justin might be muttering under his breath here about the presence of this mascot exhibition. Of note, he grabbed his mascot exhibition very, very quickly, but I did catch a glimpse of a card called Start from Scratch, which destroys an artifact. And he actually does have
Oh,
another. Cody actually does have another learn card in his hand, um, which is the Igneous Inspiration, which you can go get at some point. And at that point might be
um,
coming very shortly. So he's drawn an Archon of Sun's Grace for turn, but he can't cast it because it requires 2 white mana, and he only has 1. That's the one that makes a Pegasus whenever you have an enchantment enter the battlefield. So it looks like he's just going to use his burn spell here. He's going to go get his Start from Scratch, and he might just use the Start from Scratch immediately here.
I don't see, unless I'm missing something, I don't see a play from just outside of the looting.
Yeah, it's just his draw's a little disjointed here. It's not they didn't have stuff to do, but it just wasn't really affecting the board in the way it needs to against a red-white deck. Against some other decks you can get away with maybe not affecting the board as much. But but also on Cody's side, his plays have not been scary either with just a 2/2 and a 1/1 double strike in play. So, but I think both of these players are looking for something to break the game open. But Cody has it in hand. We see it. The mascot exhibition there is threatening to break the game open. Um,
Visionary can draw a card if there are 4 more types. I'm not sure where to see the count, but is it possible it's
okay, so he went
activatable?
for expanded anatomy here on his double striker just to try and get all the damage in. So rather than get a removal spell, because he could have got the Start from Scratch, which kills either the looter or the equipment, because it destroys an artifact or deals 1 damage. He just went for the
Yep.
more aggressive play. He wants to get this game over with. He sees
Yeah.
Justin has more cards in hand than him. Uh,
Anyway, Visionary is
he just wants to do it.
activated for its draw card. There's no counter on it like a
I
lot of the newer cards
think
have.
it. I
So
think it costs 3 to use though,
yeah, yeah, he
which is
just did
just
that
he
on his
he,
turn.
he just yeah, but he can't do that on this turn. Ancestral
He
Blade
got
puts a
2
body into play. He can now equip it with the
devoted.
plate armor, so he can make a he could equip for 2 here. So now we see the plate armor come into use. Uh,
There's a devoted Graft Keeper in hand now. It's a 2-drop.
yeah. So Cody's drawn his land here, also planes to eventually cast his Archon. Uh, so he could cast 2 things this turn, or he could just cast his mascots. So let's see what he decides to do. Uh, he could welding sparks the 2/2 soldier, but that doesn't seem very good, and play an Archon, or he can just make 3 creatures here and put the pressure on big time.
Well, Curiosity's not looking the greatest when you're on defense.
Yeah, his like Justin Time didn't seem bad, but it just seemed poorly equipped to face off against this type of deck. Okay, so we're just gonna trade off the board and create 9 power here. No big deal.
Oh, Danitha is pretty relevant. Danitha's I don't know if there's a great way to deal with Danitha, but
So he could
it's
play
got
Danatha. He
lifelink.
could equip it up as a 5/5.
That's 5 health if it ever gets into combat. So
So Cody can't kill that. He can make his flyer into a double striker, but that doesn't that doesn't do that much if Justin's able to gain 5 life next turn.
that was an excellent draw because you're at 11 health basically now.
Okay, so oh, he's just dead
Is there
then.
another play?
No, he's not just dead. Well, he's considering putting his Twin Blade on one of the ground creatures to try and get lethal, but the thing is, Justin will gain 5 life during first strike, uh,
Yeah.
regardless.
What's that land that he has? Is that the one that draws you if you have artifacts
Um,
and enchantments?
yes, I believe you have to have an artifact and an
You draw
enchantment.
1 per.
Oh, okay.
Well, you draw one if you have an artifact, and two if you have both,
Yeah, yeah.
etc.
I believe it's two to sack. Right now he has neither.
I'm not sure if that's the card that it is, but
Yeah, it's the roadside
looks yeah.
reliquary from Kamigawa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you pay two, I believe, sacrifice it, and then if you yeah
Hmm.
artifacts, if you have an artifact, draw a card. Enchantment, draw a card.
I guess there's auras around here in this deck.
That would have probably
Yeah,
actually been
Danitha
quite good in Justin's deck. It would have been pretty good. So I think he's just playing his Archon here. Uh,
flyer.
he can attack
Okay.
for two.
Is the Archon an enchantment creature? Because
No,
Rambunctious.
no, it's not an enchantment creature. It has constellation, so it cares about enchantments, but it itself is not an enchantment. And so next turn he could put his double strike on the Archon to gain back a bunch of the life. Okay, he's
Cheapen
gonna.
Lantern Bearer here,
Okay, so
as
he's
well as cheapen Jog Skull Infantry
yeah. So this
and a
was
network disruptor.
a cost reduced Lantern Bearer as well, thanks to Danatha.
There's quite a few choices in hand, I must say. New Stonehaven Pilgrim, Devoted Draftkeeper, Network Disruptor, which is a 1-drop. Mutt can't be played now, but there's also Curiosity
Yeah,
still. I
he really found a lot of cards that other people were not interested in, which is usually the key to having a good draft deck. So let's see if one large Danatha can fight off an army of mascots here.
It would be pretty insane, considering it was the last top deck when he was in
Yeah,
desperation mode.
he's just gonna gain so much life here.
Drug Skull could be cast on. Oh no, does it cost 4?
It
Never
costs
mind. It's already
four as an
reduced.
equipment, yeah,
Yeah, it's
as an
already
order.
visually reduced for me here. That's why I was getting confused.
Okay, he's gonna tap the flyer here, I assume. I just tap anything really.
Could probably swing first. There's more information, but
Tap the ground creature, I guess. Danatha is flying, so that doesn't might have been just like tap a land, I guess.
what doesn't Danatha have at this point?
But
Trample.
trample?
Horsemanship?
Definitely doesn't have horsemanship. Doesn't have reach. You know. It has faults. It's not perfect.
Banding.
Yeah, so here's just 7 damage coming right up. 14-point life
Ow.
swing. Uh, yeah, Cody's run a Fable of the Mirror Breaker here. So Cody will be able,
Oh,
and that along with the Twin Blade Geist makes a bunch of Pegasus tokens. So there will be fodder. There's going to be fodder
there's a
here.
there's a rambunctious mutt to kill an enchantment though.
Okay, yeah, but there's going to be a bunch of fodder here to block this Danatha, even with the flying that it has. Um, so if Cody can make enough blockers to just block this off, Justin will be gaining a lot of life, but he will be able to. Mirrorbreaker can maybe help him dig for something that can just get this Danatha off the board.
Well, it's possible that it's just gonna be killed by mutt on the right if that's the turn right now.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
it'll at least trigger the Archon to make a token.
a 2/2, yeah.
Yeah, and as so this Twin Blade invocation is going to make a 2/2, and the Mirror Breaker will also make a 2/2.
Like Steve won the other bracket, so
Was that the winners matchup?
yeah,
Yeah.
I believe.
Okay,
So that
so
might
looks like we'll be seeing we will be covering whatever the finals are, whether it's Cody or Justin. We're playing against Steve, who I believe was the one. He had a red black deck with some sacrifice synergy and a little bit of artifact stuff going on. So that'll be interesting to see in the finals.
NFL versus the world.
Yeah, Danatha against the army here. Well, it's vigilance, it's flying, it's lifelink, it's first strike. So it's just like all the things that you don't want to see a creature across the board have from you,
High
right?
Blade's Boon is the draw. It can be discarded for Chemister's Insight. Other
Yeah,
than that,
let's see here. Yeah, so he's just gonna attack. There's probably a chump block involved here.
vigilances. Pretty key here when you're trying not to die on
Does
game
just
one.
have any way to protect this Danitha in his hand, or is just holding out hope that Cody doesn't find a removal?
No way to protect it. It's Skyblade's
Okay.
Boon, Stonehaven Pilgrim, which is getting a little worse at this point in the game. Devoted Graphkeeper comes back as a flyer that can only block
I
flyers.
figure Cody just has to block here with the Dragon's Rage Channeler because it has to attack next turn. Uh,
True.
I kind of would have rather held the Dragon's Rage Channeler in hand to discard to the Mirror Breaker here. Because if he doesn't block with Dragon's Rage Channeler, it just attacks into the Danitha. So maybe holding that in
Do it
hand
just
to discard to Mirror Breaker might have been the move here.
well, Mirror Breaker might not survive depending if he wants to. If Justin wants to play the Mutt this turn, but he
Yeah,
has a lot of options for his second main phase.
yeah. Well, Cody has to assume that he's untapping with Mirror Breaker though. So wow, okay. So he's just banking on drama removal here because he's taking the damage. He's letting Justin go to 18.
It's playing
So
Graphkeeper to
this
mill two.
one mills two.
Taps
It has
things
another
when
effect, right?
it taps things when you cast a spell from your graveyard.
Right. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Comes
Yes.
back as a flyer that can only block flyers, so spirits.
It's a 2/2 on the backside.
3/1.
Oh,
I'm
3/1.
looking at
Okay.
it.
All right. So he's drawn a Brunor, which is not helpful here. So looks like
How did
Brunor
Danitha grow?
and Welding
Oh, he
Sparks.
played Danitha. He played the something else on Danitha. That's what happened.
Oh, it's bigger now. Yes, that is true. I think it was the Skyblades boon, perhaps.
Yeah,
He
makes
just
perfect sense.
it cost 1 mana, so he had 5, so he spent 2, 2, and 1. Yeah,
Yep.
so he's drawn a Retriever Phoenix, which so he can go grab the start from scratch that can get rid of one of these things, one of these equipment,
Mm.
but notably it can't get rid of the flying because that's actually an aura. But you can get rid of the plate armor, which is giving it a huge bump here.
Yeah, that should certainly help.
So this is not it's not a straight up removal, but it may it's still impossible to block because Danitha just has first strike built in, so it's not getting first strike or lifelink from anything. It just has it already.
Start from scratch is a 3 mana card, right?
Yes.
So it's perfect mana for that.
So he just has to kill one of these equipment. But notably, Justin can play spells in his graveyard next turn to tap blockers. So this is going to be altogether a difficult
Mhm.
hill to climb here. So if you wondered who wins the war between 9 creatures on one side and a Daneth on the other with a bunch of equipment and aura, we're finding the answer could very well be the Danetha here. Just the vigilance and the lifelink and the first strike, just everything.
So is he looking at start from scratch or something else at this point?
I think
Or it's still resolved?
he's considering just discarding his mountain.
I
He
see.
doesn't have he has 3 lessons. We've seen 2 of them. This is the third, so he's considering taking that or just cashing in for a random card. And the random card is a Toralf, God of Fury, which he can cast the hammer, but it can't equip it. So
18 life now.
looks like he needs a really good draw. And what's unfortunate is he's just attacking his Dragon's Rage Channeler into a Danitha, so Justin just gets to gain another 8 life for absolutely no reason.
He
Which is
was
why
once
he
at
should have blocked with it or discarded it to Mirror Breaker. Yeah, I think that
that was
was.
Danitha. That was Danitha at the top when stuff was looking real bad for Justin. So a little
Yep.
fortunate for him.
Yeah, it's just
But the
all of
synergy.
Cody's removal was on the small side. So he had multiple burn spells in hand, but they didn't scale right. He had 3 damage. He had 3 damage. He had the welding sparks, which he discarded, which is only 3 damage without further artifacts. So yeah, it's a difficult
Justin might
one.
go to a million life, but it's gonna be a while before Cody dies.
Okay, so
I would imagine.
he's gonna attempt to gain some life here with these Pegasus tokens.
Yeah, there's a long way to go for
All right, he's attacking with his
Cody
Goblin
to
here.
actually die.
Reason being is that it lets him draw 2 cards from his land because it makes an artifact. Yeah, so he's going to gain some life here. He's going to... Unfortunately, Justin's going to gain 8 life because of this Dragon's Rage Channeler. Again, probably should have blocked.
What's 8 life when you're playing aggro?
It's a lot. Especially when the creature's vigilant.
If he's looking for something specifically in his deck for with that rummage
So he's just throwing
to deal with
things. He's
that.
just throwing... He's like just trying to... Let's see if he's attacking with more things. He was considering attacking with some of his other creatures just because Danatha is like likely to block the Dragon's Rage Channeler. Yeah, so he's making... He's the reason why he's attacking with the 2/2 here is to make an artifact so he can draw 2 cards with his land and dig deeper for something to get this Danatha off the board.
He is taking exactly no damage, basically, because he's gaining 8, losing 8 with this block.
Yeah. He doesn't see the value.
Isn't this lethal? Yeah, you can tap 2 flyers on... Oh, no, he
No,
doesn't have
I don't
enough
think he has
mana
enough mana to cast all those because one of them is 4
No.
and the other one's 3.
Yeah, he does not have enough mana.
I'm surprised if he cast the Toralf's Hammer here. I would assume you just want to draw 2 cards with this land.
He can force a block with the 3/4 Pegasus. That's what he can do if he wants to.
So I believe that equipment, you can pay mana, tap the creature, deal 3 damage to anything, and the hammer goes back to
lightning
hand.
strikes for 6 mana?
Yeah, the hammer goes back to hand. So it's 2 to play, 2 to equip, 2 to use, I believe. And you need a red for all of those.
Yeah, that's my memory.
So he can equip, but he won't be able to activate. Which is why I think I preferred drawing 2 cards this turn.
Yeah, that's what we said, except it also buffs 3/0 as long as it's legendary.
Yeah, he's decided to just keep his treasure there. So yeah, playing the hammer wasn't needed. He just needs to see more cards.
The often forgotten text of the devoted Graftkeeper can come in handy here and make the 3/4 chump block to survive. He wants to tap down the Inkling.
Yeah.
That he could Drog Skull or Chemister's Insight for that. The draw is Containment Construct, though. So we have Rambunctious Smut, Containment Construct, and Curiosity in hand.
Okay. Let's see what he decides here. There's a few ways to go about it.
He can wait on killing the Mirror Breaker because it doesn't have haste. With the Mutt, I mean.
Yeah, Mirror Breaker will not be able to be used the first turn it comes in.
Looking to buff the Stonehaven.
Okay.
That means that...
Yeah, so this way it's going to be a 5/5 when it attacks, which is
with lifelink
bigger than any one creature on the side. So he's deciding to diversify his assets here.
So 13.
So he's putting the sun. The Archon has to block the Danatha. Yeah, and then he's gonna trade off his 4/4 here for the Stonehaven with a double strike.
And you're at 31. Containment Constructs with Chemister's Insight. Pretty nice little combo, I guess.
Oh yeah. Like I said, Containment Construct is a very, very powerful card in this cube, as it was in Neon Dynasty. I remember Containment Construct into Modern Age always felt it felt like you were getting a Muldrifter for 2 mana. That's what it felt.
Love Modern Age. Big draws here. What did he get?
He got 2 equipments here: an Ogre Head's Helm and a Lightning Spear. So he can load up some power on some of his creatures, but it doesn't solve the problem at hand here, which is
you're saying equipments don't defeat Danatha?
As it seems,
Danatha
yeah.
Owns the equipments. There's a lot of equipments on the field. Let's just appreciate that.
There might be some more coming too. Yeah, so Cody's just taking his time here. He's trying to find the best way to survive and give him a shot here.
Well, Danatha got reprinted in a new card on Domio. I've lost to just that already, and looks like
I think
not.
it still has all the same ability keywords, right? It's just beefier now.
Yeah, and equipment synergy as well.
And it brings an aura and equipment from the graveyard or hand along with it.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so he's killing off the construct here. Uh, Makes sense. He sees that it's going to get Justin more value. Justin's down to 2 cards in hand. If Cody can draw 1 removal for the Danatha, he has a shot, perhaps, but he doesn't have a lot of things in play. The thing is that Justin can re-equip, so he can make anything large. But
Gotta say,
the key is that Danatha has flying, and it's from the aura, so he can't give another thing flying. He can just pump up something else. Or
his a
yeah.
recurring flying uh counter to the recurring flying
Oh
creator.
he does have the recurring flying also, right? The Skyblades boon.
Yeah, I guess if the Mutt doesn't kill the Mirror Breaker right here, Mirror Breaker's gonna keep making copies of flying stuff, right?
Yeah, but they go away at end of turn.
Oh, they go away. What am
So
I saying?
unless they
But you
haven't
can
entered
instantly
they
block.
haven't entered the battlefield, they don't stick
I
around.
mean, you can chump block with them,
Well,
but
Cody's
it's not
drawn yet
happening.
another equipment.
Oh boy.
This time it's a Nettle Cyst, which is a living weapon, and it gets +1 for every artifact enchantment you have. So
Ornamental.
that's something Justin could have used. Imagine that on Danatha. Get another 4 power or whatever.
Holy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So not looking
that's
like
a
the
lot of equipment.
answer he needs here, but let's see how big he can load up a creature. But certainly can't get
Um,
it to the point where it could tango with Danatha.
Now Arcane Subtraction was drawn. What kind of things did Justin have in his lesson board?
Oh, he had Intro to Annihilation. He had Environmental Science. He had Elemental Summoning. I'm probably missing something as well. But oh, he has the Containment Breach as well, but he doesn't have green. I think those are the highlights.
3 flyers here means there's still some time to live for
Oh
Cody.
yeah. He has time, but Justin's gonna be at so much life that you know. And Cody's not super high on life either. He lost his lifelinker, which means the Pegasus tokens lose lifelink now.
Yep. Draw is a plane, so that can be discarded to Chemist's Insight, but he's taking a look at sideboard right now because of that Arcane
Cody is
Subtraction that was
well, looks
on.
like he was weighing his options of which emote to use, but he decided not to
See,
emote. But he was hovering around all of his emotes for a moment.
my most used one is the Sleeping Hedron when I'm on ladder.
Oh, well, he was just hovering around the 5 standard ones.
47 life.
I myself
Are we
am
playing
a
Commander?
I myself am a where mana flows the Gnarlids follow guy. That's my favorite one, but that's
Oh
just me.
yeah, not too shabby.
Uh, all right, so he's
Oh
trying to
yeah.
land, so not good. He has Ogre Headhelm, so he can make one of his creatures quite large here by equipping it with a bunch of stuff, but it still won't tango with a Danatha, a flying Danatha,
I'm
no
wondering if
less.
there I'm wondering if there is an answer. Red's not going to do it, but white can kill tapped
Yeah,
creatures a lot of
white.
the time.
Well, yeah, white has like banishing light type effects as well.
Okay.
Once in a while, red gets a scaling removal that deals damage equal to like lands you control, but they're not in this cube, I don't think.
That's another equipment, by the way. Or is
Um,
that the one?
I
That one was
do
already in hand.
believe I could. I again, we looked at a lot of pools, but I think Cody has an outnumber in his pool, which is 1 red mana, deal damage equal to the creatures you control. So that might be a
Getting there.
way, but uh,
Can turn
I don't know if
Taralf
he's
into a
playing it.
creature.
I don't know if he's playing it. I do believe he's the one that ended up with it though.
Taralf can be played as a creature. It's that one that goes back to your hand,
Yeah,
but it's not doing
there's
much
just so
now.
many decisions here of what to equip things to. He's trying to do math if his flyer can even try and think of tangling with. Danatha here. But unfortunately, whatever he loads up can get tapped instant speed by this Chemister's Insight that we see face up.
Or even, yeah, even arcane subtraction is something to
So this
take
devoted
advantage.
Graphkeeper, which again just looks like a strangely out of place card in most cubes, is he found the use for it, and it's looking very good. We didn't see
Yeah,
it. We didn't see it in the last round, but we're seeing it here. Right, so he's gonna go load up a flyer. He's thinking of. He's really waffling here back and forth. Okay, so he is gonna equip here. Flyer's a 7/7. So with Ogrehead
Drone's
Helm,
dead.
the flyer will be a. If he equips Ogrehead, it'll be a 9/9, but it could just get tapped.
Yeah.
So he can impressively he can create a creature that can actually do battle with Tanatha here, but
The awkward
the
part is,
the
yeah, I'll take
Graphkeeper,
9.
yeah, the
I'll take
Graphkeeper
9.
is
No, actually, you don't
disturbing.
do. You let it hit. You completely let it swing if he's gonna swing because then you
No,
get lethal on this.
well, I think he's intending to attempt to block with it. But he knows that's not an
Yeah,
option.
tango.
So uh,
Yeah, I don't know why I was saying that he would never swing, but
he's
it's pretty funny.
essentially he's out of options here aside from drawing something that kills Danatha because the Graphkeeper is stopping all potential plans here. Okay, so he's going to kill the
Run.
Graphkeeper. Uh, Justin does have to respond here by tapping the large Pegasus.
Bring rid of curiosity because he's probably not hitting face anytime soon without winning.
Now, if Justin can find a removal for that Pegasus, he just wins here.
Igandro, Igandro was picked up and
That
he
doesn't.
can't tap a thing now.
No,
It
if he finds a
is it
removal for the 2/2, he will just win here on the spot.
action?
Okay.
Yeah, he has annihilation. We
Yeah,
knew that, so
he
it's
can
lethal.
annihilate. Yeah, he can annihilate the 2/2 and Danatha. Uh, Danatha beats an army of mascots and
Oh,
other assorted tokens and whatnot. Yeah, that was
yeah.
rough. Without a way to really kill something that has a high toughness. Looking at his pool here, he is playing an outnumber. I'm just like scanning for things that can kill larger creatures. Um, he has Wandering Emperor, but that actually kills a tapped creature, which doesn't work either because it has Vigilance. So Danatha was all sorts of problems here. Yeah, he has a lot of things deal 3 damage. He has a deal 4 damage.
Nothing to kill a
He has an
Danatha.
Abrade, which can kill an artifact. He has a Glass Casket. That is an
Okay.
answer to Danatha. So I mean,
As big as Danatha is, she will not
look,
be more than that.
it's we have to look for answers for things other than Danatha, but
Yeah.
see if
Well,
he's
Danatha
considering
had
anything in his sideboard here.
it was Danatha plus all the equipment. That was the problem.
Yeah, so he's taking out. You hear something on watch, uh, and he believe he brought in a Spike Field Hazard, which usually I would be main decking. The little pinger instant that can also be a land. I wonder
All
what
around two
I
matches.
wonder who Clockwork Drawbridge paid off to be the background of the loading screen between the matches.
An artifact creature.
Yeah, because it's just
Drawbridge.
it's hanging out in the background here. So is Justin doing any sideboarding that we can
I
see?
didn't see any. I was look. He was
Okay.
taking a big look. I don't think I saw any.
Yeah, I think his deck is kind of well suited to face off against this type of deck.
See
So
what happens. It was looking very good for Cody in the first after a
yeah,
bunch of
so
turns
Cody's
there.
got a 2-lander here, but he is sending it back. He can't cast much
4-2
impactful
draw.
stuff.
Sorry,
So
4-2
Cody,
draw
yeah,
for Justin.
so Cody does have a Adeline that he could play on curve. So if Justin doesn't have an answer for that, that's a card that can regularly run away with games, especially on the play here. So he has
No answer. Just
yeah, so he has a SRAM, um, which he can later follow up with a Lizard Blade to draw a card. So it looks like this mulligan might work out here because Adeline's going to come down. Now he's got a
draw
Lightning
was
Spear.
minimus containment, so there is an answer to Adley now.
Okay, I imagine.
Besides that, Justin's got an ancestral braid, a Drog Skull Infantry, a mischievous Catgeist, Ninja of Deep Hours and Plains.
So only one land then.
Yeah, he drew the third land on turn one
Okay.
and then the containment.
Yeah. Uh, he'll frequently keep a bit of a low land count hands, uh, more so than maybe average. So he's deciding if he wants to draw a card. Yeah, he's gonna get his card advantage here. I think I I think playing Adeline is just important here, just to do it while you can get in a hit. Um,
You're
but I
going for
guess
the
I, I, I
4/4
guess I
lifelink.
guess he didn't want to trade off the SRAM, so it makes sense. Yeah, so not playing Adeline here does make sense if he doesn't want to trade off the SRAM. Uh, so he looks like he's going to Fire Prophecy this here. Either that or cast another equipment and draw another card. Fire Prophecy can effectively, let you see a new card. Yeah, so thinking about it, he didn't want to trade off the SRAM, so he didn't play the Adeline, but now he could play the Adeline if he wants.
Minimus containment is not the greatest answer to anything,
So
but
without a land, it looks like he's going with a card draw here. Okay, so he's drawn his land. However, it's a plains, and he has two red, two drop cards in his hand. So a little unfortunate there, but looks like he's making a big old attack here. It's going to be for 6.
yeah, he's
Um,
going all in. With plate armor, the old hero.
yeah,
Plate
but
armor.
racing a lifelinker is pretty difficult, even with double strike. But the fire prophecy will be used at some point on this pilgrim if he doesn't get buffed.
Very soon.
Okay, so he's gonna gain life here.
He did have a chance to get rid of his token on Ninja of Deep Hours. Played
Um,
Drug Skull. Then there would be no blocker. Oh, it's a double striker.
I don't think he needed that. Okay, so he's considering Adeline. He could play. He could kill off the pilgrim now, and draw a card. He has Iroas's Blessing, which is an aura that gives +1/+1 and 4 damage to a creature.
Wow.
So it would actually draw him a card. He's
Wow.
going for the Fire Prophecy here instead. Uh, maybe if he draws an untapped, he can then play as Adeline. Uh, looks like he's going to put Outnumber on the bottom of his library because it doesn't. Oh, he's putting the Iroas's Blessing? That's surprising considering SRAM triggers off auras. I'm
Yeah.
pretty surprised by that, actually.
Feeling like he doesn't want to hard removes anything with it.
Because, I mean, that would have been a good play this turn, right? Make your SRAM +1/+1, draw a card, kill the only threat.
What are the cards in hand? I guess that
So he has
informs
an
it.
Ogrehead Helm, Adeline, and an Outnumber. He did have an Iris's Blessing, but he put it to the bottom with the
Okay,
Fire
so that's
Prophecy and drew a
expensive
mountain.
removal.
And drew a mountain. Yeah, but
Get rid of the expensive.
yeah, but he could have just cast it this turn and drew a card anyway.
Yeah, instead of prophecy.
Yeah.
Wow, this deck is a beating right now.
Yeah, he's doing the equipment thing, so and Justin does not have a lifelinker anymore, so the combination of trample from the lightning spear and double strike from the lizard blades is going to be it's going to be a rough one to fight against here. So he needs to get rid of one of those equipments because double strike and trample is not a really beatable combination.
Make your own number cleave.
Yeah, I was thinking if there was a card that had both, it would be good. There you go.
Mm, pretty good. Deciding what to do here. He has I mean, he drew a visionary for turn, hovering over a minimus containment now.
Yeah,
Adeline does not have an answer besides that at this point, but SRAM's drawn how many? 4 cards now? 3 cards at least?
he's drawn 3. He's played those 3 equipments. We could see Helm and the 2 in play.
Like it's gonna be. Oh, he's getting rid of the double strike
Yeah, that
equipment
makes
here.
sense. He has to stop taking all that damage.
And you get a treasure for your troubles. So plate armor just means that any creature he sticks is gonna be sizable. eventually if you can survive.
All right. So he could play as Adeline here. He can knock off this 2/2 with an outnumber. So he's most certainly going to get in a nice little attack here.
Thinking about sacrificing the lightning spear to kill.
Well, he has outnumber in hand.
Oh, you get, but isn't that a white card? Oh yeah, he has to sack his treasure, doesn't he? Oh, did it tap wrong? Like it tapped three white?
No, he only has red cards. He's fine on mana. He can do what he wants to
Oh,
do.
sorry. I thought outnumber was a white card.
Yeah, so he equips this now. It gets plus 1+0 trample. He's going to attack for 4. Uh, and he has a flame discharge in hand, which is X and a red.
Oh,
To deal X
outnumbers.
damage to a creature, but it costs something about blue, right? It costs less if it's blue.
Which card is that?
It's flame discharge.
Let me see.
Uh,
X to target creature or planeswalker. If you control a modified creature, it does X+2. Yeah.
oh, it's modified. Okay, the blue one was from Capenna. This is from Kamigawa. There was this very similar spell in New Capenna. There was X and a red, and it dealt two. It dealt X+2 if you had a if you're targeting a blue creature. Uh, anyway, looks like Justin sees the writing on the wall. I think it was what it was just like
That,
a few too few lands. I think perhaps
uh,
and just not enough answers.
it could have been that, but he had a hand of 4 2 drops to stop the aggro. It's just that SRAM kept everything coming, I
Yeah,
think.
the card drop plus then the combination of trample, double strike, and just these reconfigure cards that can go back and forth from being a creature and equipment. Uh, just gave Cody a lot of options to find a path to victory here.
Justin will not be complaining to be on the play this
So
time.
he brought back in, as you hear something on watch, took out a Dwarven Hammer, which is a bit slow on the draw. I would say it's 5 mana. All right,
See,
so
behold the unspeakable in the starting hand
I mean,
here.
this looks like a keep. He has SRAM, and then he has an Ogrehead Helm and a Nettle Cyst. So,
Oh,
and
SRAM again.
he has a little Fireblade Charger here to start off.
Great
That
draw
one,
here, Ancestral Blade.
yeah,
He was gonna have to play
that one gets haste if it's equipped, and when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to anything. It's a little
ice
one
with
one.
equipment.
So SRAM's going to come down, and we know in white blue he doesn't have a lot of ways to get a SRAM off the board. So this SRAM might
Yeah.
define this game. Uh,
Well, what he has is Banishing Slash and Farm, which only matter if SRAM's going into combat, I think. So
SRAM
maybe you have to get SRAM to attack.
SRAM could just be the best card in his deck, or at least the card you would want on turn 2 the most, if not the best. But yeah, so
So
he gets
Farm is the option here.
so he
And there is a
casts.
Behold coming.
Yeah, well, SRAM's not going to attack this turn. If he does attack with it, he will lose it. He's just going to hold back here. He's just going to draw his cards. Like
Ooh.
this is Boros card draw here.
Well,
Not the usual thing we see out of Boros, but
here's a Maul of the Skyclaves.
okay. So what's he leaving his mana up here for? Some sort of
Farm
interaction.
farm
Okay.
is farm to I forget the other side of it,
Yeah,
but farm.
I guess he's hoping that SRAM gets equipped, but we'll see if Cody is wise to Justin's plans.
Justin also had the option to play Key to the City, which is not great when you're trying to block.
No, I actually like Key to the City looks like a card to side out in this type of match. Looks like it's going to be too slow. All right, so he plays
The
his
same
Helm.
cards.
He's playing a Twin Blade Geist. So that one will draw a card on the way on the second half on the Aura side. But
So Mirror Hall Mimic is a
He's just
draw.
assembling a board here. He can't attack yet, but an attack is imminent with Glass Casket and Outnumber in hand. There will be an attack coming at some point in the next couple turns.
A Mirror Hall Mimic is a draw.
Yeah, there's nothing really great to copy with a mimic though. What else? What else does he
What
have
about
for
SRAM?
options?
Mollusk Cyclades, Behold, Key to the City. And then we have the 2 removals, but can only basically kill something that's attacking or attack.
Okay, so it's farm and
Banishing Slash.
well, banishing slash can kill an artifact
Yeah,
enchantment,
Ogrehead.
or the nettle cyst, which might be more threatening.
Mirror Halling the opponent's SRAM, is that a play? He has like 3 different ways to draw cards off of it, by my
Yeah, it's
count, in
just like
hand.
he's gonna fall behind on board by not if he doesn't interact in some way or put something that can't be attacked through. He's just gonna fall. He's just gonna fall way far behind. Like SRAM has already given Cody 2 cards here.
Got it on turn 2 both games.
Like Justin's played 1 spell this game, and Cody's done 5 spells. Okay, he's gonna get
All
rid of
right,
that,
pops. Well,
and he doesn't have another play then. Yeah,
nope. I mean, he didn't play the Key to the City, but
yeah, and
told him
he doesn't,
to.
and he can't farm either. So it's all a bit of a mess here.
No amazing target to farm here unless SRAM attacks, which maybe it was a consideration. Or cards in hand for Cody.
Yeah, he's deciding between. He could play Archon here. He could play Retriever Phoenix. Um, he could kill off this 2/2 to get in some attacks. I don't think he feels he needs to use his outnumber on this 2/2. Can save it.
Incredibly threatening.
Because right now an outnumber kills almost everything that Justin's going to play. Yeah, so they're going to trade off here the Charger for the token. But now we have a big problem here with this Archon of Sun's Grace. So that might draw. Did you say you had Minimus Containment in hand? Or
He does not know.
oh,
That
he
was last
doesn't.
game.
Okay. Hmm.
But Mirror Hall can copy that. It gives no land here. We got Merfolk
Yeah,
Looter.
yeah. This is not good. Yeah, it's just going to get outnumbered here at right away. Yeah, yeah.
19.
This is beginning to swing
That
firmly in Cody's favor here.
land drop would have been great for Justin that turn. Didn't get it.
He's giving his Archon double strike. That will draw a card and make a 2/2. So we really see the synergy here. He's just going to play a 2/2 haste. Just like that. This is not quite lethal, but yeah. I don't think there's any 1 card that Justin has in
Dude,
his deck. Yeah. So Cody's moving on to the finals with an impressive draw there. Turn 2 SRAM really carried the day here. Very, very scary looking deck here. As we did say when we were reviewing the pools, his deck looked extremely scary. So we'll see him in the
sure.
finals, which will be taking place shortly.